Are you wondering what's going on in the Columbus, Ohio real estate market? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down what's been happening the first 6 months of 2024, what those numbers look like, where I personally see the markets going, and what I'm seeing as a boots on the ground realtor here in Columbus, Ohio. And it all starts right now. So let's go! If you're new to my channel, my name is Mark Vanstein. I make videos about living in Columbus, Ohio and the real estate market. We are in the dog days of summer, so it's time to do my half-year real estate market update on the Central Ohio area. First, let's review what happened last winter. As we turn the corner into 2024, the market was busier than expected. Usually in Central Ohio, January and February can be pretty slow months, but because of the extreme lack of inventory, the first quarter here was pretty strong, and that continued throughout the spring. The median sales price for a house in Columbus hit another record high of $334,000, up about 4% from last year. To give you a little bit of context, 5 years ago, the average sales price in Columbus was about $181,000. Now that is a crazy amount of appreciation, especially for a Midwest city in just 5 years. The price per square foot has topped $200 a square foot, which is also very near a record. Of course, the price per square foot can fluctuate greatly depending on the home's age, updating, and location. If you're looking to building or new construction, you can now easily expect to pay over $250 a square foot. Again, depending on where you build and whom you build with. Now some good news for buyers. Inventory is up 35% from last year, with the days on the market climbed to almost 30. There is definitely more inventory on the market than there has been in the last 18 months. This is great news for buyers, but a good example of where you have to really analyze the data carefully. If you've watched any of the other videos on this channel, you know I'm a numbers guy. The month supply of homes is still only at 1.6. That is the absorption rate, or the comparison between buyers and sellers. I mention this in every video, but real estate's all about supply and demand. In a good balanced market, an equal number of buyers and an equal number of sellers should be about 5 to 6 months of inventory, and we're still under 2 months of inventory. That low inventory continues to keep us in a strong seller's market. Now that has let up a little bit, but what we are noticing is that as the inventory rises, buyers are no longer willing to pay these exorbitant prices for houses. Last year, you could literally put a house on the market and there was such a short supply that it was hard to guess what it would actually sell for. Buyers are willing to pay anything, no matter what the condition. Well, that is no longer the case. Buyers are being much more picky on the prices they pay for homes, and what we're seeing is quite a few price reductions across the board. Unfortunately, some homeowners have not received that message. They continue to think this is 18 months ago and I can list my house at these incredibly high prices no matter what the condition. And buyers will just pay it. Like I said, this is no longer the case. Before I go any further, if you're moving or relocating to Columbus and feel like you might need some professional assistance, reach out. I'm a full-time RE/MAX agent and been helping people move and relocate to Columbus for over the last 20 years now. I'm actually a third-generation realtor, and my family owns our brokerage. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, however you want to get a hold of me. I'm pretty easy to find. There are many cities that have been less fortunate than ours this year. Texas, Florida, and other markets in the Southwest are really struggling right now. I know this because I have clients moving from these areas who are having difficulties selling their homes. And it's hard to stomach knowing that you're going to take a haircut on the sale of your house and then have to pay a high price in Columbus, Ohio. But unfortunately, that's just the situation that many people who are relocating are in right now. So what's my forecast for the rest of 2024 into 2025? Well, the Fed keeps talking about a rate cut. I still think there's a good chance that happens before the end of the year. They actually just met yesterday and decided to keep things where they're at. I mentioned in my market update video earlier this year that every election year there are rate cuts. And I still think that's going to be a possibility this year. The real issue has been inflation, but the Fed tells us that it's cooled, right? Well, have you been to the grocery store lately? You might know that that might not actually be exactly true. The problem for us in the Columbus market is that if there's a rate cut, demand will go back up. Now, no one, including me, is going to tell you that high interest rates are a good thing. But if the rates start to drop and people can afford more house, then the demand will increase and prices will continue to increase. And housing is getting unaffordable as it is. The largest factor that has caused this housing mess in the first place was that the rates were too low for too long, which has really caused people to be reluctant to move and created this supply issue we're having. In a good, stable market, rates should really be around 6%. We're a little bit higher than that right now, but what we're not going to see, unless there's some sort of larger economic catastrophe, are sub 4% rates. I think everyone has learned that they really do more harm than they do good. I see the market in Columbus being pretty stable the remainder of the year. Our fall market in Columbus starts right after Labor Day and runs through the middle of November. After that, in a normal market, it really starts to slow down for the holidays. If you're looking to buy this year, November and December can open really good buying opportunities because there's just less buyers in the market. I think no matter who wins the election in November, it's not going to have much effect on our housing market. My bigger concern is the commercial and broader economic outlook. Look, I'm not an economist and this is strictly my opinion, but I was an agent throughout the 2008 housing crisis. I see a lot of similarities between now and then. Not from the residential side, but more from the commercial side. It's just not being talked about that much in the media, which is another concern of mine. Commercial loans are very different from residential loans. Most are 5 to 7 year term rates, and many are only interest only. That's how you make money in commercial real estate, through leverage and appreciation. I don't want to get into the weeds too much about this, but now these commercial loans are becoming due, so the ownership groups have to refinance the loan. You have a situation where the building has lost considerable value and the rates have doubled and tripled what they were when the building was purchased, so they can't refinance that loan. All this is putting a huge stress on banks and will continue to for the next several years. We already saw this happen this spring when several banks failed. The government had to step in to stop that domino effect. Listen, I'm not trying to be a fearmonger here, just Google it. Vacancies in major cities are in the 40 to 50% range. That's not even the true vacancy rate because some of these companies are still paying rent even though they're not using the space. We are seeing buildings in some areas sell for 60 to 70% less than they sold for 8 to 10 years ago. Just please make sure you watch the markets and read the financial news. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and hopefully you found it informative as well. If you need some help relocating or buying a home in Central Ohio, reach out. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever makes you most comfortable. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Until next time.